seated. Your Excellency, President Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, President of the Republic of Namibia, we have a competitive advantage as Namibia. Honorable Ambassador Salma Ashipala Musyavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade, Honorable Veiko Nekundi, Minister of Works and Transport, Honorable Gaudentia Krone, Deputy Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy, Ambassador Margaret Mensah Williams, our Ambassador to the United States of America, Ambassador Patrick Nandago, our Ambassador to the Republic of Angola, Dr. Nangula Uwanja, CEO of the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, our distinguished and esteemed investors, businessmen and women, traders, female traders, male traders, all the traders, fellow Namibians. We notice there's a lot of friends of Namibia, our honorary consuls, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I think after that exercise we had this morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Namibia House, at least for the next hour and a half. So for us who don't know, today is the 24th of June, 2025. You are at the Invest in Namibia session. Our Minister of International Relations and Trade will formally welcome you. She is a seasoned diplomat and has tirelessly promoted Namibia investment and trade between Namibia and different countries during her tenure outside and inside of Namibia. So I want us to please help me welcome Honorable Ambassador Salma Ashipala Musyavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade, and then after her, we will continue with the program.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies. In the interest of time, since we are starting a bit late, let me just say, dear friends of Namibia, good morning. Luanda and the US-Africa Business Summit is buzzing with exciting activities and positive all-round energy. So, for us from Namibia, for you to have chosen this event is truly gratifying, and you have made the right choice. It's therefore my pleasure to welcome you to Invest in Namibia. Namibia, the hidden jewel of Africa. Namibia, the land of diverse and abundant business opportunities. A country with extensive railway networks and ranked as #1 in Africa for its best roads. Namibia, the country whose tallest dunes in the world, with the unique convergence of the sand dunes and the Atlantic Ocean, makes it one of the top tourist attractions in Southern Africa. And if any one of you this morning leave this room without your appetite being sufficiently stimulated, blame it on yourselves. Because we have pulled out all the stops to make this an exciting event. Now, before I go overboard, let me emphasize that investment and trade remain primary drivers of Namibia's economic growth. And today, we invite you to explore the immense potential that lies within our borders and beyond. We invite you to engage fully and take part in shaping the opportunities ahead My team and I stand ready to support you every step of the way. But that is not all. Ladies and gentlemen, Namibia is known as the land of the brave. Yes, we are a country of brave men and women. We are fearless. We set trends. We venture where others are wavering. And in November last year, we made history by electing into the highest office of the land the first woman to serve as President of the Republic of Namibia. Yes, and you know what she did? When she assumed office, she set up a cabinet with the majority of women, a first in the world. Now, to provide further insights into investing and trading with Namibia, please be upstanding as we warmly welcome a daughter of the African soil, born in Namibia, but brought up by Africa, a veteran of Namibia's liberation struggle, a Pan-Africanist, a student of international relations, Namibia's chief diplomat, a staunch believer in the power of multilateralism, someone who walks the talk on gender equality, a visionary, a dedicated advocate for the capacity of the African Continental Free Trade Area and the African private sector in bringing about economic growth and sustainable development, not only for Namibia, but for Africa. Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, President of the Republic of Namibia, to deliver her keynote address. You are welcome, Comrade President.
Please be seated. Thank you very much, Honorable Selma Spala Musavi, our Minister for International Relations and Trade, for giving me the floor. And also in the interest of the time, I sincerely want to recognize all of you in your different capacities. You really made us proud to be here today. And just to add my gratitude that all of you have found time from so many activities that are happening here, and this hour you have chosen to come and be with us at this event in Western Namibia. Basically, the purpose of this event is to provide an opportunity for the Namibian government and the private sector to appreciate each other's interest in the area of trade and investment. I have to tell you, as the President of the Republic of Namibia, that our government has promised the Namibian people to improve on the quality of life, their livelihood, through job creation in order to reduce inequality and to bring up sustainable development and prosperity to all Namibians. We know very well as a government we will not be able to do this alone. Hence, we are seeking for partnership with the private sector, both locally and internationally. I know from the face of it, when you look at the private sector and the public sector, we might have different interests. But at the end of the day, we are serving the same people and we need the same people. As a government, it is our responsibility to make sure that the people's needs are met through the improvement of the quality service and again to improve on the livelihood. But for the private sector, it's not a hidden fact that most of the time you are looking at making profit. However, what is encouraging to me, in interacting with the private sector, I came to realize that the private sector is fully aware that they will not be able to make maximum profit if there is no good labor relations. And labor relations only comes if there is a good understanding between the employer and the employee, instead of hostilities, which most of the time comes due to starving wages that are given to the employers. For us, we feel we must really strike a balance between the role of the private sector as well as the government. More particularly, when it comes to our ambition, the ambition of the state for development and for the market-led economy. And for us, this is in line with the Namibian constitution that talks about mixed economy. In other words, when we decide to aggressively reach out to the private sector, that is because our constitution directs us that in managing the Namibian economy, we are guided by the principle of mixed economy, where you have the public and the private sector equally taking part in the economic of the country. You are already informed as to what is Namibia, but I just want to remind you that Namibia is a country which has 824,292 square kilometers, with a population of 3.1 million Namibian people. Don't say this is a small population. We are not a village. We are part of SADC. We are part of Africa. We are part of the globe. However, we provide a good platform and a good space for you to flourish and make an impact in the world economy. And to meet this inspiration, we have policies and laws that make us to be open to foreign and local investment equal. For foreign investors, I must say, your space is more in the major industries, such as mineral extraction and value addition. Value addition is very fundamental because that's the only way we'll be able to grow our economy and create necessary jobs in our country. Thus also giving breathing space from your own countries not to have a number of migrants coming from our countries. Create jobs for them at home, and then they can only visit you as a choice, but not want to stay there. While the sectors of retail, among others, should be predominantly by the local investors, as that will give them a possibility to grow from being small business to become big entrepreneurs, whereby they can also join you in the major economic sectors, not only in Namibia, but I would also want to see Namibians also investing in other countries. But without the capacity, they will not be able to do that. So therefore, we have to make use of our resources to build the capacity of the local entrepreneurs, to build the capacity of our local business people, for them also to become international business players. Namibia's economy, as you all know by now, is very much mineral-based. And we have quite a number of the critical minerals which are needed, particularly now when we talk about technology revolution. I need not to mention all of them because I know there is Mr. or Miss Google who can give all the information anytime you need it. But I can tell you, we have rare earth minerals. We have also zinc. We have copper. We have lithium. We have iron ore. We have uranium. And that's why we are not afraid to make sure that we want to have uranium as part of our energy mix, because it's a strong energy which is very important for industrialization. I'm throwing it to you. And recently, Namibia has also captured the attention of the world through the oil and gas discovery. And of course, the abundant nuclear, clear, renewable energy which we have. I'm sure for some times we will come to be known as the sender of green hydrogen. When it has been discovered that in the southern part of Namibia, you find one of the natural laboratories where green hydrogen can be produced. Of course, we know it's just normal hydrogen, only that we have enough renewable energy there, where you have both the sun and the wind, and where brought together, and that can create a very strong clean energy, thereby you can produce green hydrogen. And that will help us to contribute to decarbonization in the fight of climate change. You know, since the Rio Convention, Namibia has been very vocal on the issue of environmental protection, and they will do everything possible that will enable us to contribute to the mitigation of climate change, while realizing the importance of development, that at the point where we are, we need the space for us to develop. I'm inviting you to Namibia for you to come and work with us. Namibia stands ready for you to bring your investment. Namibia stands ready for you to work with us in also addressing our challenge. Earlier on, I talked about unemployment. Unemployment in your country is very high, and we cannot continue to allow that, particularly among our youth. The latest statistics are telling us that 46% of Namibian youth are unemployed. Therefore, as much as I can assure you that when you are investing in Namibia, you must really have a peace of mind. The country is peaceful, the country is stable. The country has the laws that are protecting your investment. You can easily repatriate your profit. The supporting services, such as banking services, as well as communication, is very competitive. And I would want you to invest in Namibia now and in the future. But the guarantee we have is to take care of our people. Therefore, you to come in and create the necessary jobs to make our citizens happy, to make our citizens feel benefiting from their natural resources. That's the only way we can go further with you. And I believe you understand what I am saying. Having high unemployment in your population, you must know you are sitting on a time bomb. And that we don't want to see it in Namibia. And that's why we are saying, as we are welcoming you, we want you also to join us in addressing these real problems that can easily threaten your investment. Director of Ceremony, our country is known to be a dry country. But I must tell you, with the advance of technology and with the introduction of what is called the smart agriculture, when you are thinking of Namibia, don't just think of coming to invest in the mining sector, oil and gas, but also there is room to invest in agriculture so that you can also contribute to our food security and together with you to grow the key agriculture subsectors of our economy, namely small and large stock, because Namibia is known as a beef country. Also, we are investing on cash crops such as dates, blueberries, grapes, and others. On top of that, as our Minister of International Relations and Trade has mentioned, Namibia is a place where you can really recharge as a tourist. And this is because of our natural beautiful features, complemented by our wildlife that is well managed. Namibia is a country where our citizens have agreed to coexist with wildlife. However, we are very careful by putting in place clear policies that will mitigate human-wildlife conflict. And this is based on our constitution that calls for sustainable utilization of our natural resources. So therefore, when we are advocating for the harvesting of wildlife, it's not because we want to extinct them, but it's part and parcel of sustainable utilization of wildlife. And that's why most countries we are meeting nowadays, both European and Africans, they would want to purchase wildlife from Namibia. You are free to do so. We will negotiate heavily, but remember it will not be permanent. Because once you take them within 5 years, they are already not looking like animals. You want to come back. So therefore, work with us so that you keep them in their natural environment and you come and see them in their natural environment and their natural look. It's very important for us to know that. While coming to invest in Namibia, we want also you to bring in skills as well as to transfer skill to the Namibians. Therefore, we are calling for joint ventures between yourself and Namibian entrepreneurs. Similarly, we have now adopted our policy of PP, which is public-private partnership, we can also engage in those activities. Finally, because of the time and with experts who are coming, the Namibian team is here. They are more familiar with the subject. They are more technical people. I am elected to provide the policy guidance. I just want to inform you that upon resuming office of the presidency on the 21st of March of this year, for a very good reason, I have decided to restructure government offices. Therefore, today, trade and investment are under the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, where the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board falls, while the upstream of oil and gas is placed in the office of the President. It's a new industry. It needs to be well understood, and I felt that the Namibian people, having given me that responsibility, they trusted me to take care of the big issues of economic natures that are coming into our country. Therefore, as we stand now, the Minister of Trade, the Minister of International Relations and Trade is under clear instructions to make sure that the Namibia Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill is finalized as a matter of urgency. I'm mentioning it because I know many of you have been attending Namibian events. You have been hearing about this bill. And I don't want to hide it from you. It is not dead, it's alive, and the minister is taking it up very seriously. It's very important because it will create an enabling environment to attract investment both locally and domestic. However, while waiting for the finalization of the law, some tax incentives have already been introduced during the current financial year. For example, the corporate tax is reduced from 32% to 30%, effective from the 1st of April 2025 financial year. And looking ahead, we are considering for further corporate tax reduction to 28% in starting the year 2026 financial year. Additionally, Namibia offers generous capital allowance to facilitate the growth of investment across various sectors. Therefore, please be ready to listen to the team. I can only assure you that Namibia is open for business and our government is ready within our laws to create a conducive environment for business. And we are not only looking for investors, we will welcome investors who are ready to work with us to meet the goals set out for Namibian people while you are making your profit. Don't hesitate, don't think twice. Just come to Namibia and you'll find us there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Always candid, and I believe the message was very clear, that Namibia is open for business. Reforms have been put in place to make her even more attractive investment and trade destination. Can we maybe just make room for the guests that are, there are some places in between. So, thank you. So I'm going to continue. I'd like to show you, before we carry on to a presentation on Namibia and the investment opportunities, I'd like to show you a video of our country. Obviously, if you take a plane after that, immediately to Namibia, we'd be very happy. I'd like you to just lend your eyes to the screens and watch this Namibia exploration with us. Thank you.
Located on the west coast of southern Africa, Namibia has a population of 2.5 million people, occupying 824,292 square kilometers of breathtaking landscapes, home to abundant wildlife. Since its independence in 1990, Namibia has proven to be an African reference due to its political and economic stability, sustained by a flourishing democracy. Over the past 30 years, the country has seen the peaceful transfer of power. Namibia is a land of hospitable people with rich cultural traditions and exciting investment opportunities. Through the world-class port at Walvis Bay, the country positions itself as a logistics hub for road, rail, and sea freight, connecting neighboring countries and the broader Southern Africa development community with the rest of the world. Namibia, in reinforcing its strategic position of a logistical hub, continues to invest in infrastructural projects to facilitate easy access and movement of people and goods throughout SADC countries with a population of more than 300 million people and further access to the wider African market of 1 billion consumers through the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. The long-term economic and political strategy of growth is firmly based on ensuring openness to trade and external investment while advancing development of strategic key sectors of Namibia's economy: mining, fishing, agriculture, tourism, renewable energy. Namibia's vast renewable energy generation potential affords our generation with the opportunity to produce green hydrogen at unparalleled scales, thereby supporting our global objectives to decarbonize the planet. A prosperous and industrialized Namibia, developed by her human resources, enjoying peace, harmony, and political stability. With the vision of private sector-led growth, Namibia is open to trade and foreign direct investment and is continuously proving to be the preferred investment location in Africa. Among the reasons for this include protection of ownership rights and rule of law, sophisticated financial systems, trade agreements that facilitate regional, continental, and international market access, peace, and stability. A nation powered by nature and fueled by hope. A nation where our unity is our strength, where determination and passion endures. A nation powered by our unwavering belief in our values, our resources, and above all, our people. This is how we are shaping our future. Welcome to Namibia, the land of the brave.
Thank you. That towards the end, ladies and gentlemen, is Christine Boma. I remember during COVID, she was running, I think, in Europe somewhere, and we were in the boardroom. Remember that time you were only allowed 1 or 2 people in the office, and we were in the boardroom, and I think I almost jumped onto the table. That's how excited I was. The last time was when South Africa played Namibia at the CAF. I don't want to talk about that. Great. I want to call upon Dr. Nangula Nelulu Wanja. She's the Chief Executive Officer of the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, who will do a presentation on the investment opportunities in Namibia. Dr. Wanja.
Thank you very much, Margaret. Your Excellency Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, the President of the Republic of Namibia, Honorable Ambassador Salma Ashipala Musavi, the Minister of International Relations and Trade, to our Honorable Minister of Works and Transport, Honorable Veiko Nekundi, let me stand on all other protocol observed. While we are talking about the bravery of Namibians, I don't know how many of you know, while we are here, our ladies won the UAE Cup in a netball cup in UAE. Do you know some of the countries that they beat to get to that winning? The USA. So while we brought the USA to Africa, we also arranged a meeting there in the UAE and beat them nicely. So just to indicate that 3 million can be a powerhouse, as it has been indicated. Ladies and gentlemen, I think our principals have told you that Namibia is definitely the best country to invest. Therefore, we are looking forward to having you in Namibia very, very soon. Her Excellency has told you what Namibia is like, what the policy is like, how we allow investors to have their investment, but really, like it has been said, that shared prosperity is better enjoyed than one-sided prosperity. Our minister has also told you about our logistic hub and the connectivity of Namibia. So I will tell you a little bit about Namibia in numbers. I think for most of you should know, I always say I'm an accountant, so I must remain true to my profession. Let's see if this one will work. Where am I supposed to press to? Must I be indicating to you or this side? Okay, it is moving a little bit, so when you see me doing that, then it means we must move on. Thank you very much. I usually present this by starting to tell you about Africa. Of course, we are in Africa, we are on the African continent, and this is a US-Africa Business Summit. Yes, we say Namibia, we are a small country, but I always tell people we are in a very excellent neighborhood. An African neighborhood where we are saying that most of the solutions to the challenges that are facing the world today will come from Africa. Whether it is the labor force, whether it's agriculture, whether it is energy, whether it is mineral, and even in terms of cuisine and culture, Africa remains one of the untapped continents in the world. So in terms of investment, Africa is a hotspot. We are seeing significant increase in investment in Africa, and we are seeing that all the major economic powers are playing a role. From China to the USA to the EU, everybody is finding Africa. And yes, we are seeing that every other country has got an Africa something business summit or leaders summit, because we do understand that the relationship with Africa will mean a lot for everybody. So looking at Africa, we have got what we call the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, and the agreement that will enable us to trade more with each other. So Africa will not only be the source of talent and so on for the future, but also it will be a source of consumption. We believe that whether it is digital, whether it's AI, Africa with its young population will be one of the significant consumers, and that is already happening now. That is why we are inviting you to invest in Africa, with Africans, for Africa. And this is the list of the things that Africa imports. So when we are coming to Africa, we are not saying come and invest in Africa and export somewhere else. We are currently importing certain goods that we consume. We would love to see most of these goods produced in Africa by African countries, of course, with African partners. So I think I've said enough about Africa. Let's see quickly what we can say about Namibia. So Namibia, let's see there, we have got that slide. I think our president has talked to you about our population, about our size, about our economy, so we can move on to say yes also about what is making Namibia trend. And when you talk about energy, the president has talked about from uranium to hydrogen or renewables to oil and gas and so forth, also to agriculture. Trade and investment data, let us quickly talk about that one. We can see the Namibia imports quite a number of products. Namibia export, we have been consistently having a trade deficit. And I said, normally it does not necessarily say a trade deficit is bad. It depends on what you are importing. If we are importing something that will help us to increase our production capacity, then that's good. Unfortunately, we are not only importing things that will help us increase our production capacity, we are also importing things that we consume like food. And those are some of the things that the current government has a good, definite plans about. What do we need to do to increase local production, especially for what the government consumes and for what the Namibian people consume? We have got what they call the Swapo Party Manifesto, which is a manifesto under which Her Excellency ran her presidency. It provides very good clarity as to what is the government willing to do, which kind of relationship does it want to form in order to grow Namibia and businesses. So, who are our partners in terms of export? We export mainly to South Africa, Botswana, China, but you can see we have got quite a good number of lists there. What do we export? Let's see quickly. I think go back one slide. Yes. So, as you can see, like many other African countries, what we export is a lot of unprocessed, including even live animals. So we will want to see more of the meat produced in Namibia and for us to export later. So this is really, when we are putting up this data, is for you to look at what are the opportunities in Namibia, and then also use this opportunity to export some of these goods to our neighbors in Southern Africa. We have told we are members of SACU, where you can export duty-free. We are members of SADC, and we are member of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. The next slide, those are partners again that we import from. And you can see, yes, we have got a very good long history with South Africa, and therefore South Africa remains our largest trading partner. We are also equally importing again from China and a few other countries. And what do we import from them? Processed goods. So you can see we export unprocessed goods and then we import processed goods. And I think that is what our leaders are saying. We will want to see some good balance there in terms of that basket. So here we are talking about some of the trade snapshot for Namibia. And let me just see this one particular one. So Namibia-Africa trade. So now let's go back to the Namibia-Africa trade. So, down. Next is this one. So that is Namibia-Africa trade. So you can see that Namibia is starting to trade significantly with Africa. We used to import a lot from Africa, but you can see our export to the rest of Africa have started to increase significantly. As a matter of fact, in 2023, the Barometer of Standard Bank classified Namibia as second in terms of the potential to trade with the continent. So whether it is because of the connectivity to the continent, whether it's because of what we need to offer, we were categorized as number 2 with potential to take or to seize opportunities that are offered by Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Next. So, and that is the trade between Namibia and the USA. So I don't want to make some not good comments, but I still want to find out the 21%, because according to the statistic I have, we are running a deficit with the USA. So we are importing more from the USA than we are exporting to the USA. And yes, there are goods that we are exporting, so that is some of the data that we have, that Namibia is definitely trading with the USA with a matter of us importing more than we are exporting. Next slide. So in terms of investment, those are the stock, the FDI stock in Namibia. You can see that the red there from China, mostly in the uranium space, and then you can see there South Africa, Mauritius. I think there's many countries that, or companies that use Mauritius as a house where they have got their investments. So it could be some companies from Canada sometimes, especially in the mining industry. You can see Botswana has invested in Namibia. But to move forward to the next slide. So you can also see that the USA, it's probably part of, especially in 2024, investment from the USA have increased. And therefore, they are now joined 5th position between the USA and the UK, following South Africa, China, and others. And therefore, we have seen investment from the USA to Namibia growing from year to year. Next slide, please. That is where we have, so total Namibia FDI and the composition of the USA, you can see that it has started to grow over the past 2 years. Next. So, and now this is an interesting one. Significant potential. That is the amount of US FDI to the world. You can see a portion for Africa there, and something of Namibia that has kind of completely disappeared. So definitely significant potential for U.S. investors into Namibia. But what is also interesting is that in the latest year, although overall U.S. foreign investment to the world has decreased, their investment in Africa has increased. And therefore, definitely, Namibia has got potential to attract more U.S. investments. Next. So in which sectors should you invest? Those are the sectors. I'm not going to go through each one of them. We will have a panel discussion, but we will talk about I will tell you where to find more information. But we are looking, and you can look at that one and say it's almost everything. We have identified specific products under each one of those sectors that we are looking for. Some of the ones that we are looking at least, especially to increase employment, yes, we know agriculture, and according to the manifesto of Her Excellency, there is 7 areas which is really a priority areas, and those include youth empowerment, it includes sport, it includes culture and creative industry, and those are some of the sectors that we are also attracting investment to, of course, in addition to our traditional areas of minerals, tourism, and mining. Next one. So if you go to our website, that's a page on our website, NIPDB.com. If you go say investment opportunities, there is a catalog there with current opportunity. There is also some investment where there is a little bit of more details that is given in terms of a map. There is also what we call propositions. Propositions are based on current import, current demand in Namibia and Africa. We think those are areas that you can look into for you to consider investment in Namibia. So please explore our website and then send us an email or give us a ring, and then we can collaborate. As I'm coming to the end of my presentation, next slide, again, emphasis on our corridors. You can see Namibia has got a deep sea port there in Wafish Bay. We have got another port in Ludert that will also foresee significant investment in the next 3 to 5 years, because that's where we expect to have a hub of oil and gas and green hydrogen. You can see from our port, you can connect to Europe, USA, whether it is actually in Northern America, also South America, to Asia, to the rest of Africa. We've got corridors, Trans-Kunene, Trans-Orange through to South Africa, Trans-Kalahari through to Botswana, Trans-Zambezi through to Zambia and DRC, and we have also, again, the Trans-Kunene that takes us to Angola. We have been told we have got the best roads in Africa for the 5th consecutive year, and definitely we are also investing again in rail to make sure that our rail infrastructure, which currently goes to many of the roads, still reaches all our neighboring countries. And my last slide, the President has really said a lot about that environment, and I think the next slide is just to say, please contact us. The next slide. So the slide before that one, those are my colleagues that we can contact to please make sure that we are able to connect with you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. I believe, as much as I just got some text messages, oh, I really love your president. But I believe Her Excellency has to step out. She has an engagement that is taking place at the same time. If we could If we could please rise for Her Excellency's departure. Your Excellency, thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. We appreciate you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you. Please do not leave. I believe she's going home, so you can't follow her to the engagement. Thank you. You may be seated. I must apologize. Normally, when we are home, we are 3 million people. And if you asked anybody, who is Minister Nekundi, they will tell you who is Minister Nekundi. We are very few people in our country. And so I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Margaret Gustavo. I am Namibian by birth. I will be acting as your Director of Ceremonies. So, I thought I'm at home here. I thought maybe the Angolans will also know me and the Americans would know me, but clearly not. I have to introduce myself. We're going to move on with our program. I'd like to call upon Mrs. Elizabeth Schwarzy. She's the Vice President of Global Exploration for Chevron Upstream, who will deliver just a few remarks of their experience of investing in Namibia.
Good morning. Distinguished guests, all protocols observed. I want to thank you for giving me a moment to talk about Chevron and Chevron in Namibia. Chevron is a proud U.S.-based energy company. We've been around for over 140 years. I am proud to lead the exploration side of Chevron's business. Africa is very important to Chevron. We have been investing in Chevron, and we are growing our portfolio in Africa through exploration, which brings me to Namibia. Why Namibia for Chevron exploration? 3 things. 1, clearly the rocks, the geology is a compelling investment. From the discoveries in 2022 to our technical work to our engagement in Namibia, we are very excited to be part of the exploration program in Namibia. Your country has been incredibly welcoming. You bring a compelling business environment for us to invest in, and you have strong frameworks for dialogue and for partnership and for regulations. All of that makes Namibia a tremendously exciting and rewarding place to invest. I want to thank the team, particularly Petroleum Commissioner Maggie Shino, for her partnership and for the whole team's partnership and collaboration as Chevron conducts our exploration business in country. And I want to thank you for not only your collaboration, but your forward-looking approach to building capacity to enable the oil and gas industry to be successful when exploration ultimately turns to development. At Chevron, we strive to be the company most admired for our people, partnership, and performance. I see that commitment as well with everything that you do in Namibia and all of our engagements. And I look forward to a long, successful partnership in energy. Thank you very much for your time. I will turn it back over to you.
Mrs. Schwarzy, thank you so much for your kind remarks. And so now we're going to have a panel discussion. I will be moderating that panel. I want to call upon my panelists, Mr. Ben Nangombe. He is a seasoned public servant in the government of the Republic of Namibia. He currently serves as the Executive Director of the Ministry of Industries, Mining and Energy, a role he has held since March 2025. Prior to this, he served as the Executive Director in the Ministry of Health and Social Services and the Presidency at some point bringing him extensive experience in governance and public administration. And then I'm calling upon Mr. Gregory Swartz. The women are coming. He holds a senior management diploma from the University of Stellenbosch and currently serves as the Business Development Director at Wallfish Bay Salt Company, one of the largest salt production companies in the country, in Namibia. Angelique Peak, she's the head of oil and gas, energy and resources at Rand Merchant Bank, Namibia. With over 20 years of experience in banking, she now plays a pivotal role in positioning the group as an enabling mechanism for industry in our country. And finally, I want to call upon Beatrice Bienvenu, currently serves as Chevron's country manager for Namibia and West Africa exploration, a position she assumes as from July 2025. And let me join you over here. Let's welcome the panelists. So in Namibia, we make a lot of noise. So the soft clapping, it doesn't encourage them to. So we've seen the numbers, we've heard the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. We've heard Her Excellency speaking about policy, the reforms that have happened. And I want to speak to a few things. Ms. Angelique Peak, seeing what the trade numbers look like now, our ambitions to attract investment in specific sectors, what role does Namibia's domestic banking sector play in facilitating long-term capital access for local and foreign investors? Speaking about what you're doing now, and perhaps looking at what you want to do in the future to enable government to attract the investments that we are looking for.
Yeah, thank you very much, Margaret. So I think it's critical to understand that the banking sector in Namibia is already quite a sophisticated sector, to our President's comments earlier as well. And it is a well set up sector, both in the retail, the commercial, and the corporate space, as well as the investment space, etc. So I'm not going to go into detail about that. I think it's a very sophisticated for Africa. However, what we have learned over the past few years is at RMB, we already look after about 85% of the mining sector. So we understand how to deal with global multinationals because there's a very different need there and a different facilitation requirement as well. What we've had to do in the green hydrogen space and the renewable space over the last 5 or so years, and very, very heavily so over the last 2 years, is understand this beast of oil and gas, because you can only solve for and help any sector and bank any sector if you understand it. But you can only enable the multiplier effect resulting ecosystem in Namibia if you understand the big sector. So whether it's renewables, whether it's agriculture, whether it's mining, or now in the newer space, the oil and gas side, it is a big piece of work that we're doing to understand this sector at every level, whether it's the operators, the tier 1 and 2 contractors, and every stakeholder that has anything to do with it. Because if we understand them, their thinking, how they do their due diligence, how they contract, how they pay, because the payment terms are very different in some of these big sectors. And remember, this is a financial beast. It is huge. So if we understand that, we can then help at corporate, commercial, and retail level, and everything in between, the Namibian ecosystem, to enable them to play in this space, really to the point of, let's make sure that the whole of Namibia can play here, and it's our job to understand it so as to help the banking sector enable it.
Thank you very much. Is this something that the bank always had in its arsenal, or is this a new sector that you've developed as the banking sector?
So we look after mining and energy and resources already for a long, long time. As you know, it's a
We apologize for that short interruption. We'll be back after the short break.
Direction. One of our key areas that we needed to do improvements on is especially around the ease of doing business in Namibia and to streamline business permit processes. So what key reforms is government currently implementing to improve on those?
Thank you very much, Margaret, and good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, Margaret was saying the applause when meeting was not so strong, but we'll give you another chance. Thank you very much, Margaret, for that question. Indeed, policy is a driver, but when you are talking about investment competitiveness, we are talking about an ecosystem with policy direction as one of those components. We are there to facilitate that process. So what we as government have done in that area starts with, before the investor gets into it, we have an e-visa system to enable people to apply for visas in an easy way to come into the country. When you enter into the country and you want to register a business, for example, we have an electronic portal that allows investors to submit their information and their documents about registering an entity, for example, so that the processes can be initiated, and when they come, these things are already sorted. The system also allows, for example, for compliance documents to be processed, whether it is in relation to social security documents, whether it is tax documents. All these things can be done online. The ministry has introduced the one window approach through the Business Intellectual Property Agency, BIPA, that registers companies. So all these things can be done in a one-stop fashion. So we are moving. The President spoke about the Investment Promotion and Facilitation Act, or bill that is being drafted and is being pursued by the Ministry of International Relations and Trade. We are also looking to streamlining our regulations and our processes related to the registration of companies in the country. And I think the progress that we are doing already is quite encouraging because these processes are being placed online, and the investors can rest assured that when you come to the country, these processes have started, they are being pursued, and they will make it easier for you to have a seamless experience of coming into the country and investing in the sectors that you choose to invest in.
Thank you very much. And I guess maybe just to add to that, the one-stop center at the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, which actually includes a lot of the elements that you've spoken to, Edie. So thank you so much. I'm going to run over quickly to Mr. Swartz. Namibia is seen as a global pioneer in mining commodities, and one of them is salt. Apparently, we produce a lot of salt that we export out to the whole world. What progress has wellfish-based salt made in this space, and what opportunities exist for international partners?
Thank you, Margaret, for the question. Many people around here would ask, salt, why are we talking about salt in this forum? But yeah, salt is big in Namibia, and our presence here is basically to, we've started exporting salt to the US in 2018 already. Our business is just over 60 years old, and we produce salt of very good quality, comparing to the rest of the best in the world. Yes, so to tell you, well, the Welfare Space Salt has invested in a $5 million plant to produce salt of substantial quality, and our exports is aimed at Africa, West Africa in particular, South Africa for the chemical grade products. We sell into South Africa for chemical grade, that is for chlorine and caustic. Basically, further derivatives of that goes into sodium hypochlorite, which then moves down into the houses of Mrs. and Mr. Housewife, into sodium hypo, where you have your domestos, handy, and bleach, all of those things. And yeah, it is quite a experience for salt. The U.S. Institute for Salt calls about 14,000 known users of salt currently on the list. So yeah, it is quite a big enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swart. I want to go back to the regulatory framework, and perhaps maybe let me just jump over to Ms. Beatrice. Beatrice Bienvenue. I love the surname. Bienvenue. Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. What has Chevron's experience been with navigating Namibia's regulatory and operational environment, especially in the oil and gas exploration area?
Hello. Yeah. Welcome, everyone, or bienvenue. First, thank you so much for having us here. And I mean, you really lined up an inspiring group of women leaders to deliver the remarks. I can't wait to visit Namibia. So, mission accomplished.
Awesome.
I'm honored to be here representing Chevron as the country manager for Namibia, and just, again, thanks to everyone for having us here. As one of the largest U.S. investors in Namibia, we're proud to have an exploration program that pushes towards the future and really helps us discuss our positive experiences. Just to kind of take you back to Chevron's commitment in investing in Namibia, we're very optimistic about our exploration portfolio. We have 2 blocks in the offshore area. We have one in the Orange Basin and one in the Walvis Basin. And in the past 2 years, we have expanded our acreage position. We have acquired a significant 3D seismic survey that gives us the technology to understand the subsurface. And we also drilled an ultra-deep water well that was accomplished safely and in record time. So we really feel that oil and gas, to go back to the first day in the opening, is a pathway to prosperity for Namibia.
Right.
In terms of the regulatory environment, we look for a lot of different attributes across the regulatory, business, and other spaces. And we've seen a lot of, this is the one that's not working.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. And we're really happy. We have been so warmly welcomed by the ministry, by NAMCOR, by our partners, and every other governmental institution that we have interacted with. And we've been very impressed by the transparency of the government and the oil and gas industry.
Sorry, I think I might need my mic here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Chevron was probably back then, when. I'm not going to go into which 80s or if it's the 70s. I think Chevron was the one who discovered gas in Namibia. If I'm not mistaken, the American company that discovered gas in Namibia, is that correct?
Yes, it was through Texaco, which has now merged with Chevron.
Right. So now you're back. So
Yes.
what made Namibia an attractive destination for Chevron's upstream investment?
So there are many reasons that Namibia attracts investment, and so many of these reasons have already been discussed by Her Excellency and the other speakers. But for us, as Liz said, the first element is geology and the rocks. Right? Namibia has a proven hydrocarbon system, as evidenced by a number of discoveries. And we look forward to seeing the development of that resource. We've also been very pleased with the robust regulatory and fiscal framework, as you mentioned, and the cooperative approach of the government. And as mentioned, the recent creation of the upstream petroleum unit, really putting a priority on oil and gas.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go back. Ms. Peak, Rand Merchant Bank, aligning its portfolio with the country's green transition, we know that, particularly in financing energy projects, not limited and are not necessarily limited to other sectors, but how have you done it as RMB?
Yeah, so I think it's what I sort of mentioned earlier before. It's all about understanding the sector. The green side of things, or the renewable energy side of things, has certainly come quite a way in the last 10 years or so, I think, since Namibia started investing quite a lot in the solar side of things, the wind side of things, the biofuel side of things, and now more recently the green hydrogen side of things. So energy, we know energy security is incredibly important for everyone in Africa. And while we have not experience the load shedding that our neighbors have, we know that we need to invest now to make sure that that doesn't happen. We're incredibly blessed with the opportunities that our country presents, with the wind, with the sun, with the space. And so naturally, as a banking sector, we also know that if we don't invest in Namibia and to create a sustainable country, we're not going to have a client base anyway. We want a Namibia that we can invest in. And to be able to do that, we need to enable the things that are important to the country. So energy, whether renewable or back to some of the fossil fuel side of things, we know they're going to have to exist in tangent for a while longer probably than the globe hoped a few years ago. But the reality is, whether it is oil, whether it is gas, or whether it is renewables on a natural scale, the opportunities in Namibia are huge. So we are there to support that ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Ms. Peak. Tate Nangombe. In Namibia, Tate means sir. So it's not his name. Tate Nangombe, could you elaborate a little bit on the Special Economic Zones Bill and related policies around that? What will it offer? What are the competitive incentives, particularly for sectors that Her Excellency touched on in terms of what she's looking for with regards to investments?
Yeah, thank you very much, Margaret. That's a very important piece of legislation for promoting investments in Namibia. Maybe just to step back a little, we have started the process of also amending some of our old laws, such as the Close Corporations Act of 1988, the Companies Act of 2004, and the idea is to have a more unified legal arrangement so that investors that come to Namibia don't have to be dealing with different pieces of legislation, but more a unified kind of structure. And that, we believe, is going to increase Namibia's competitiveness as an investment destination. It is going to make it easier for investors to engage with our regulatory environment. And I think it's a question of building confidence between us as a country and the investors that wish to come to our country. So we are streamlining this process, ladies and gentlemen, so that when you land in Namibia, you have ease of doing business, you have ease of trading. As far as the special economic zone legislation is concerned, it's a draft bill that we have already taken through the Cabinet Committee on Legislation. It's on its way to Parliament to be enacted into law, and it will make specific provisions for benefits that investors would enjoy in Namibia. For example, the corporate income tax will be reduced. I'm not going to go into figures because I don't want to make promises. It all depends on what the lawmakers are going to say. But we are moving towards, you already heard the president talking about the reduction of these taxes in the current laws. But with this particular one, we are going to see further and further reduction in terms of this corporate tax. We are also looking at issues of providing for accelerated depreciation. We are making provision for companies to be able to enjoy a specific regime when it comes to the export arrangements of commodities from Namibia. So all these issues, we believe that are going to increase our competitiveness as a country in terms of investment, and it's an exciting time for us looking at what the legal environment and the legislative environment is going to look like when we enact these laws. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tatena Ngombe. I'm running out of time, I'm told. I think we're a bit over time. But I'm going to give every panelist here the opportunity to just give an overview. At least, Mr. Swartz, what I would like you to touch on really is just what are the opportunities, if any, exist for further investment or value addition in Namibia's salt industry, and maybe a wrap-up of investing in Namibia. Why should I, if everybody's investing in Namibia, why am I still considering it, and how would you convince me to actually come there?
Thank you, Margaret. That's such a tough question, but yes. Let me start by saying we export, as the Excellency has said, and the previous speaker as well, a lot of raw product out of the country. So if we can look at investing in a proper chlorine, hydrochloric acid, caustic soda plant in and around Walvis Bay, Swakopmund for that matter, where we have a lot of mines using caustic chlorine. We use caustic for potable drinking water, for instance, and we import all of these chemicals that we need for the mines around, in and around the Zongo region, Zambia, DRC, even Nigeria. If we can invest in a proper plant of that nature, where we have the salt of good quality that South Africa is currently using for their plants, we will be in a position whereby we can create a fair amount of employment. And I think that is one of the things that we need for a plant like that, stable electricity. And that is key. Stable electricity. And once we have stable electricity and we have a lot of bankers around us to provide the capex, then it would be easy to do. Touching on investing in Namibia, I've been through a number of times via the office of NIPDB. It is a real one-stop investment center where we have Home Affairs, BIPA, all of the authorities that runs with investment and investment structures. And it is, she's looking at me. But yes, I've been to the offices of NIPDB, and I must tell you, it is indeed, you're welcome to come, and the service you get from that office, it is tops. Thank you.
So I'm going to give like seconds. I would like, just seconds. If you were to describe that for me in, I wake up and I need to make a decision on Namibia. What will it be? I think Beatrice seems ready. So do you want to go?
I'm ready.
Go for it.
So is this on? Oh, here we go. I think there's a bit of a delay. Okay, so for us, can hit 3 quick points. We see a favorable fiscal environment, right? That helps us attract capital. A robust legal framework that supports the investment. And then durable energy policy and regulations that enable decision making at pace, right? So in Namibia, we see a committed government, a favorable fiscal regime, a regulatory environment that supports us. And so this is precisely why Chevron is investing in Namibia.
Thank you very much, Beatrice.
See, the women do it fast. Okay, I'll be fast as well. So I don't think it's a difficult question, Margaret. I think the opportunities have been presented as to what investment opportunities there are in Namibia. The country is still learning. It's not a new government, but it's a new cabinet, it's a new team. There is a lot to learn, but the openness to bring investors into the country and treat them with respect and with, allowing them to advance their businesses is there. So our president said this morning, we are part of a global village and we know we can't grow Namibia on our own. So the openness to investors is definitely there. We still have to learn, but that's what the public-private partnerships are for. It's for myself in the private sector to engage with government, and we will keep doing that and make it an even better investment destination.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think if there's anything that we are to take home from here, is that Namibia is speaking with one voice. Whether it is what our president said, the Minister of International Relations and Trade, whether it is NIPDB, whether it is you, Margaret, as you are moderating, whether it is from me as Executive Director in the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, we are speaking with one voice. We want to create an enabling environment for investors to come and invest in our country. We want to welcome you with open arms. We are approaching this on the basis of a whole of government, whole of society approach. You have been informed about the contact details that are there, that were shared, so that if you are in America, the embassy is there for you to contact. If you are here, if you are elsewhere, contact our embassies and make contact with Namibians to facilitate your coming into Namibia. When you come into Namibia, we are ensuring you of a streamlined regulatory framework that is designed to facilitate your entry and your investments into our country. So we want to welcome you to Namibia, and we believe that you are going to come. I think that is the invitation that we have for the investment community in all parts of the world. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tere Nangombe. I'm going to give just an opportunity for 1 or 2 questions from the floor. If there are any 1 or 2 questions, if you can just stand up. Can I give this mic? Can somebody help me, please?
You can give up. Margaret? Yeah, come and take this one.
Good morning. My name is Tiago Almeida. I'm from the IFC, part of the World Bank Group, private sector arm. So Namibia is a great place. I cover Namibia for IFC. Really come, it's beautiful, people are very nice. And I only have one question. So Namibia, great prospects for oil and gas, for hydrogen, but we are here today. Those things will still take some time. Being in Angola, it's impossible to not talk about the Baines hydro project, Hatran, the megawatt project between Angola and Namibia. You've been inviting private sector to come and invest. This is an important project for Namibia, for the region. The World Bank believes it's part of the least cost plan for the country. My question is, given the existing levels of public debt in Namibia, is there an option for the government to consider to partner with the private sector, as we are seeing across the region in other large complex hydro projects? And if yes, what can we do?
All right, thank you so much. Anybody else with a question? No? Question? All right. Going once. The door is shut. I'm going to call upon the CEO of the NIPDB. Oh, no. Tate Nangombe is here. Tate Nangombe is here. He's going to answer the question.
No.
And if you would like to add on, yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. That's a very important question. The Baines hydropower project is a binational project between Namibia and the Republic of Angola. It's a strategic project for Namibia in particular, and we are pursuing it with all seriousness. Now, whether we are going to make it possible for the private sector to invest in this particular project, we are not closed off to options. You heard the President. We have the public-private sector engagements, and this would apply to different investment projects. So as a part of the IFC, please, come, let us talk. We'll take it from there. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to please give a warm round of applause.
Well, that is all we had for you on Namibia Connect this Tuesday afternoon. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place. From me, Selima Henok, and the rest of the production crew. Until tomorrow.
The highly anticipated Season 4 of the next Makaisa Star is finally here. Embark on an exciting journey with us as we uncover the incredible raw talent of Namibia and transform it into Makaisa Stardom. Don't miss the premiere of the next Makaisa Star competition on Saturday, the 5th of July 2025 at 9 p.m. Proudly presented by San Velvicia Music Production in partnership with the National Theatre of Namibia, the National Arts Council of Namibia, Namibian Broadcasting Corporation, and NBC Plus. Sponsored by Namport. Tune in every Saturday.